Once upon a time there lived a young inventor named Stella who loved building rockets. Ever since she was little, Stella spent hours tinkering in her backyard workshop constructing model rockets out of cardboard tubes and empty soda bottles. The whoosh of the rockets as they zoomed high into the blue sky thrilled her to no end. Stella's greatest dream was to one day build a real-life rocket that could blast all the way to the moon. She read every book on aerospace engineering and rocket propulsion that she could get her hands on. Stella covered her bedroom walls with posters of famous rockets and astronauts. Each night, she gazed up at the night sky, imagining herself strapped into the pilot's seat of a spacecraft, hurtling through the inky blackness of space. When she wasn't building rockets, Stella loved painting. She spent hours mixing together the perfect combinations of colors on her palette to create dazzling works of art. Stella's vibrant paintings were filled with every color of the rainbow. "These colors make me happy," she thought. Though her passion for painting was not quite as strong as her love of rockets, Stella still dreamed of one day becoming an artist. On her 12th birthday, Stella received a toolbox filled with real metal tools that she could use to construct more durable rockets. She spent weeks planning out her greatest rocket yet. This one would be large enough to fit her inside. Stella gathered scraps of metal, old car parts, and even some steel fuel tanks to build her new rocket. After months of hard work, Stella's rocket was finally complete. She painted the outside a bright, gleaming white and decorated it with red and orange flame details. Stella stepped back to admire her masterpiece. "This is the most beautiful rocket ever built," she said proudly. As exciting as this moment was, Stella knew the real test would be getting her rocket off the ground. The next day, Stella wheeled her rocket to the old abandoned lot behind her house that she used for launches. She loaded the fuel tank and strapped herself into the small pilot's seat. Stella's heart pounded with nervous excitement as she began the ignition sequence. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, blast off. The rocket rumbled to life and Stella was pushed back into her seat from the immense force. Her rocket was flying straight up into the sky. Higher and higher her rocket soared. Stella peered out the round window beside her at the neighborhood getting smaller below. She flew through clouds damp with dew that left tiny droplets across her window. The sky darkened to night as Stella breached Earth's atmosphere. She gazed in wonder at the stars twinkling brightly all around her, more than she had ever seen. Ahead floated the glowing white orb of the moon. Stella couldn't believe her rocket had made it into outer space. As she circled slowly around the moon, appreciating its immense size and cratered surface, Stella felt immensely proud of her accomplishment. This was a dream come true. Just as Stella completed her loop around the moon and pointed her rocket back toward home, she heard a loud bang. The rocket began spinning out of control and warning sirens blared loudly. Stella frantically flipped switches and pressed buttons on the control panel, but nothing seemed to work. She had lost control of her ship. Through the window Stella could see bits of metal floating away and smoke trailing behind her. She needed to make an emergency landing somewhere fast before her rocket broke apart entirely. In the distance, Stella spotted a small, colorful planet she did not recognize. It was her only chance for a safe landing. She carefully maneuvered the sputtering rocket toward the planet's surface. As she broke through the atmosphere, everything went black. Loud noises and shaking tossed Stella around until finally, with a crash and a thud, everything stopped. Stella opened her eyes. She had safely crash-landed on the mysterious planet. Stella climbed out of the battered rocket to look around. The landscape was like nothing she had ever seen before. Strange sparkling trees with diamond leaves towered above her. Beds of colorful flowers she could not name covered the hillsides. Glowing rainbow rivers snaked through the grassy valleys. Cotton candy clouds dotted the lavender sky. "Where am I?" Stella wondered aloud. Just then, she heard a friendly voice behind her ask, "Hello there, are you lost?" Stella turned to see a cute alien with rainbow-colored skin and a flashing antenna smiling at her. "Welcome to the planet Spectra," the alien said. "I'm Nebula. We don't get many visitors way out here. What is your name?" Stella introduced herself and explained how her rocket had crashed. "Well, looks like you'll be stuck here for a while until we can fix your ship," said Nebula. "Want me to show you around planet Spectra?" Stella eagerly accepted the offer. She couldn't wait to explore this magical place. Nebula led Stella down a path lined with silver trees toward a glittering lake. "Watch this," Nebula said, picking up a smooth stone. They skipped it across the lake, leaving a trail of splashing color behind. Stella picked up her own stone and was amazed to see it leave a rainbow wake as well. "The water turns colors here depending on how you interact with it," explained Nebula. Stella spent the rest of the afternoon skipping stones and watching the colorful ripples spread across the lake. As the two new friends climbed a hill, the most magnificent castle Stella had ever seen came into view. "Whoa, you live there?" Stella asked Nebula, staring in awe at the rainbow-hued towers twisting up into the sky. "Yep. Come on, I can't wait to give you a tour," Nebula said. The castle rooms were filled with more rainbows than Stella thought possible: rainbow chandeliers, rainbow-stained glass windows, even rainbow floors. It was like a fairy tale. That night, Nebula treated Stella to a delicious meal of rainbow fruit with sweet, glittering juice. Looking up at the planet's 3 moons through a stained glass skylight, Stella told Nebula, "I've never seen any place as beautiful and magical as planet Spectra." Nebula smiled. "Well, I'm glad you crash-landed here. It's nice to finally have a visitor. You're welcome to stay with us as long as you'd like." Stella hoped she would be able to stay forever. She had finally found where she belonged. Over the next few weeks, Stella settled happily into life on planet Spectra. Every day brought a new rainbow-hued adventure. She helped Nebula care for the whisker sloths, fluffy creatures with long snouts that purred when pet. She spent hours gazing into the galaxy falls, a waterfall flowing with shimmering stardust instead of water. Stella rode the solar wind with Nebula when the skies were clear, soaring above the colorful landscape on beams of sunlight. And every night she painted the ethereal views of her new home. Though Stella loved the dazzling magic of Spectra, she also missed her family back home on Earth. She wondered if they were looking for her, scanning the skies for her lost rocket ship. Stella confided in Nebula one day how happy she was on Spectra, but also how she longed to let her parents know she was okay. Nebula gave Stella a sympathetic hug. "I totally understand, but space travel between planets is still new to us," Nebula admitted. "We don't have the technology yet to get you back to Earth." Stella had an idea. She asked Nebula if any materials on the planet could send signals long distances through space. Nebula's antenna lit up excitedly. "Of course. Stardrops." Nebula led Stella to a cave glowing with translucent stones that looked like droplets of water frozen in time. "These stardrops contain special properties," explained Nebula. "Spectrans use their energy to power things, and also to send transmissions between planets." Stella's inventor spirit kicked in. She carefully gathered up handfuls of stardrops, planning to build a device that could transmit a signal all the way back to Earth. Back at her new home in the castle, Stella got to work building her interstellar communication device. She tinkered for days, carefully assembling the stardrop crystals into a futuristic rainbow machine. When it was finished, Stella flipped the power switch. The device began to hum as light built up in the stardrops. Stella input the coordinates for planet Earth and recorded a message for her parents. "Mom, Dad, it's me, Stella. My rocket got knocked off course, but I'm okay. I crash-landed on an amazing planet called Spectra where the trees shine like diamonds and the sky rains stardust. I miss you, but these aliens are taking good care of me. I love you." Stella aimed the device at the sky and transmitted her message. The stardrops glowed brightly, sending light streaming up through the atmosphere. Stella hugged Nebula tightly. "Do you think it worked?" she asked hopefully. Nebula smiled. "I know your message will make it home." Stella went to sleep that night feeling content, knowing her parents would soon know she was safe among the stars. A few days later, Nebula rushed to find Stella by the galaxy falls. "Stella, hurry, I have amazing news," Nebula cried. "We just received a transmission from your parents on Earth. Here, listen." Nebula pulled out a small device and played the message. "Stella, hearing your voice is the best sound we could have hoped for. We are so relieved you are all right. Your spectacular adventure makes us proud. Explore, learn, and help the people of planet Spectra. We know you will do great things. Let us know the next time you can send a transmission. We love you." Tears of joy streamed down Stella's cheeks as she embraced Nebula. "Thank you so much, my friend," she exclaimed. Now my family will know I'm safe whenever I send them messages. Stella felt hopeful she could find a way to travel between Earth and Spectra someday. For now, she was happy exploring the magic of this prismatic planet. And she knew her parents supported her new intergalactic life among the stars. The end.